Hello and welcome to Rauta's Vinyl Monday. It's yet another synthwave album I'm gonna talk to you about. This one is Waveshaper from Sweden, Stockholm, the capital city. Now Waveshaper have been there quite some time, and by year 2022 there's almost like 40 releases all over out now, and some of them are EPs. I think this is actually classified as EP, and there's a few full lengths and obviously singles, so it's not like 40 albums, but still a lot of music to begin with. And here it is, Velocity LP reissue by Electronic what's the label? Electronic Purification Records, which always does wonderful job with the vinyl versions. So as you can see, pretty cool cover, kind of a lacquered logo here and sweet colors. And of course the background, this is showing very much like 1980s. This is a gatefold, having a beautiful image on the inside as well. Let's just put it there for a while and grab in the actual vinyl. As you can see, this is very kind of glowing red. I think it's so more glowing in reality than on the first before the camera, but as you can see, this is quite bright red, quite sturdy as well. So I guess this is 180 grams vinyl, not so one of those, you know, really flappy ones, if you know what I mean. Since this is a instrumental music, there is no inlay, there are no lyric sheets to begin with. This doesn't even open, so that's what all you get to see. Velocity by Waveshaper. Originally this was released in 2017 if I'm not mistaken, so it's not like this is a new album. This was actually sent me a couple of years ago already, but it has taken its time because mostly the focus is on the newer albums. Let's take a look at the band's Bandcamp site, or maybe we should be talking about an artist. I don't know if this is so much as a band, technically speaking. So the style is kind of a retro wave, and like here it says, Waveshaper is mostly a video game and film composer, music with retro-inspired electronic music. And this is exactly that. This could be a soundtrack to a 1980s movie, not so much a game, I would say. And when we're talking about 1980s movies, I'm talking about movies such as Top Gun and the like, where this kind of a synthwave kind of a music was used. You know, those kind of beats, electronic beats, a little bit maybe even dancing movements and stuff like that. And then you have a different mood, like more energetic, some are more like, hey, let's make love to this beautiful girl and kind of stuff. You should know Top Gun and the like. If you haven't seen those kind of 1980s movies, well, I can't really have you lecture here either. The downside is, when people are talking about retro wave or synthwave or all that kind of stuff, now people expect different things. Where we're talking about kind of a Giorgio Moroder kind of a music, whether it's Scarface or Midnight Express or whatever, or Jan Hammer for Miami Vice and stuff like that, it's quite different when we're talking about certain kind of moods. I mean, even Miami Vice soundtrack by Jan Hammer has this kind of variety of moods where we're talking about the kind of intensity, like a let's get some crooks, let's sneak around, or whether it's more about, okay, this is let's drive a boat during the nocturnal scene before Miami, Florida, and all that stuff. Now, some albums with the synthwave scene are more like having consistent style, which are not so much soundtrack-like, but more like, you know, metal albums or rock albums, in the sense that they have certain kind of a theme throughout the album. There's not so much different themes. Now, the Velocity comes from that angle that there are different themes, and some are very different from each other. Once again, that turns in good sense, that it's more diverse. There's more variety when it comes to this kind of a soundtrack things. And I don't know, I already as a kid, when I was listening to synthesizer music, some beats were like, yeah, this is energetic. This is about taking down the bad guys or driving a road with Ferrari Testarossa and all that stuff. While some songs are like, I don't want to hear Top's theme. It's too much reminding you of those kind of steamy nudity scenes where there are lots of kissing, and which is very boring for kid that never had a kiss. Now, on later days when I'm listening to soundtrack music, obviously I'm more open-minded to different themes rather than seeing an album, you know, with just one kind of a theme. But with synthwave albums, it's not so given that you just like every track, especially when there is this kind of a diversity throughout an album. And velocity is very much like an up and downs. Some parts are like, yeah, this is really nailing it. And some parts are like, this song isn't that great. But the good thing is, this sounds almost like authentic 1980s. And that's something that I can totally like. I mean, the kind of analog keyboard sound, or that's how I feel about it, is like original, real stuff sounding like that to me. And since there are no vocals, there are no weird instruments to just confuse the thing. It sounds like almost like a soundtrack that I missed from the 1980s. But as opposed to some other Waveshaper stuff that I've been listening to and other releases by Electronic Purification Records doing these vinyl reissues, this is not among the best one. I think it's too much like all over, and you have to really be a fan of this kind of stuff, even though it's not a real soundtrack as such, to like this a lot. So lots of good elements, but also lots of filler stuff in my opinion. And as such, I cannot give like full recommendation to this one. I think it's quite okay and definitely has some sweeter moments. But as an overall, as an album or EP, it's not among the best one out there. So definitely worth listening to, but blindly buying, I don't think so. Give it a shot or give it not, it's up to you. You will find links provided in the description box. So if you like this kind of music, of course, the vinyl is the way to go to keep that 1980s vibe going on. Now, this is my recommendation and review of the album Velocity by Waveshaper. Check out the links provided and check out for more information if you need that. Should you have comments or questions, let me know and I'll answer you soon enough. Take care.